Hello everyone, my name is Lavuno and welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time watching me, I make commentary videos about topics I feel are important to me, and hopefully you. Today's topic is about how the simple belief in something defines what the thing is. Now if that sounds confusing but captivating, stay with me here now and we'll dive deep. Now, in one of my last videos, I touched on how Jordan Peterson, while on tour, said something to me that felt very important. The fact that we can feel anything about absolutely anything. The quote is, "We can organize an infinite amount of books in an infinite amount of ways on a finite amount of bookshelf." End quote. To understand this better, let's look into what he's actually saying, to understand the metaphor. The infinite amount of books is the expansion of knowledge and the ever-continuing amount of knowledge we can gather. The amount of ways is our organization of such knowledge that gives way to independent thought and perception. Think of people living the radically same life but having radically different ideologies or beliefs just based on internally how their organization is dealt. And the finite bookshelf, meaning our own bodies. As we humans are not infinite creatures, the information is infinite. The ways we can organize it is virtually infinite, and the bodies we hold them in are only finite. Which is why it's critical to organize them in a way that is successful to your being and your desires in life. We can organize ourselves in accordance to false ideologies, not in line with who you are. But you should avoid that at all costs, because out of the vastness of information can bring joy. Because out of the vastness that information can bring, there is plenty of misinformation out there. Discernment of that farce is indispensable to organize your bookshelf. We can also use a mycology metaphor. Mycelium spreads rapidly to create itself, populate in its own space, and grow in its own accordance. Outside factors also contribute to this growth. It can inhibit progress deeply. When contamination begins in a column of mycelium, it's very difficult to weed out. This is because the contamination feeds on the nutrients already present, causing a cascading avalanche of the entire colony. False ideas about the world are like that contamination that feeds on health already populated in your head. Ironically enough, I've found the allowance of bad ideas leads to a contamination of your whole mind and the loss of the colony. Steering away from mycology references into our main topic about how belief of something shapes its form and substance in the world. Not so often people bring up the question of why bad words are the way that they are, and who created the discernment to say what is bad in a language. My answer has always remained the same. Language is defined by its creators and the definition they place upon them. It is entirely man-made. Concepts are only so because of the meaning we put behind them. Whether you're the creator or the creation, the meaning of anything is entirely what we believe it to be. Meaning, the belief that something is good is created and subsequently can be changed. The belief that something is bad is again created in your mind and can as well be changed. You can think of anything if you're willing to change yourself to do so. But the most of people aren't willing to change themselves for progress and growth, even if in the moment it's critical. Oftentimes, the movies of the 90s and early 2000s, especially children's movies, held sustained substance and purpose, dressed up in a costume a child could love. One of my favorite offsprings of this art is Kung Fu Panda. I've seen the first 3 movies, I swear, over 40 times easily. Every time I watched them, I found more and more to appreciate. Outwardly speaking, the movies tell a story about a panda who has been chosen for a larger purpose and becomes the best at it. Kung Fu. It goes into his challenges of his family, his conflicting past with his incredible future. It's a deeply personal story of a panda who beat all odds and persevered through his unique abilities that outshine from the crowd. But internally, Po is a scared young man who doesn't know who he is and who he wants to be, or even who he has been. The world hates him for everything he could not control, and it feels like everything is knocking him down again and again. He cannot win. He comes from a lowly noodle shop and his life is significantly insignificant. That is until the day one man, Master Oogway, gives him a shot and sees something in him nobody else does. From that day forward, he is continuously beaten down by everyone. But he stays, he perseveres, and becomes worthy of his title, Dragon Warrior. He is bested and disgraced time and time again because those around him only saw what he lacked, where one man saw his heart. The title wasn't about being a kung fu master, but one's own heart. Master Shifu was leading in the brigade against Po and tried again and again to make him leave. But in Oogway's prophecy, he said that Po was the one to bring peace to the valley, but also to Shifu. In his last conversation with Shifu, Oogway tells him, "No, you just need to believe. Promise me, Shifu. Promise me you will believe." One of the masters of wisdom in modern media's last message to his successor was a lesson on belief. And that lesson being the one Shifu held on to. It altered his own perception, his own belief, to see what Po could become. Po's counterpart, Tai Lung, was trained in the arts of Kung Fu and was told and promised his destiny from birth. He too demonstrated perseverance in facing odds, but when he came face to face with the man destined to replace him, he lost, thinking there was some great power in the Dragon Scroll. But what he didn't realize, and Po did, is that the power of being the Dragon Warrior is the power of being yourself. At the end of the battle, they have a dialogue when Tai Lung opens the scroll and sees nothing but a thin veneer of gold shining in his face, reflecting his own picture back to him. To Tai Lung, he saw emptiness, but to Po, he saw himself. That, in my opinion, is the whole purpose of the story. Why Po was destined for it and Tai Lung was not. The difference is perspective and belief. Because I believe if Tai Lung saw it the same way that Po did, or was willing to see it the same way, he would have been worthy of being the Dragon Warrior. Because the title is only there as a description of one's self-mastery and uniqueness, not looking into others' abilities, wishing what they had, or chasing something that wasn't who they were. Tai Lung was not the Dragon Warrior because you can't chase a title. It is bestowed upon you when your level of self-ability is acknowledged, or more so, your willpower to find it. In the next two movies, Po struggles with these concepts even more. Who he is, what makes him whole. We find out about his wretched past, which only leads to more questions from Po. His parents abandoned him as they were being hunted, and the peacock that led the fight to killing his parents comes back later to conquer all of China. He again is defeated times over. As he's drifting down the river at his lowest, he is taken in by an older woman who helps him regain his strength and helps him find his past. She then drops this absolute bar of a line. "Your story may not have such a happy beginning, but that doesn't make you who you are. It is the rest of your journey, who you choose to be." And it was that simple change in beliefs, the choice of acknowledging your past, who you are and have been, but not allowing that to define you, and choosing to be the person you wish to become, and not focusing on who you were, but who you choose to be. Finishing up this segment of the episode with a quote from his father. It's in regards to a special ingredient, to his special ingredient soup. His master meal that is loved by all, similar to the illusory nature of the Krabby Patty. The secret ingredient to my secret ingredient noodle soup is nothing. You just have to believe something is special to make it so. End quote. Which was the catalyst to Po understanding the secret to the Dragon Scroll. Belief. So you, the person who's watching this video, you must understand that how you feel internally projects outward. How you treat yourself reflects on your own perception of your capability. In turn, becomes your reality. If you believe you are nobody and will never do things in your life, it will be so. But if you truly believe you can accomplish the heights of your potential, it will be so as well. What makes you, you isn't what you wear on your body, what clouds your mind when you're driving. Is it the words you use properly, unfairly to describe yourself? I feel personally what makes you who you are is the content of your actions. Whatever your idea of moral good coming forth through your actions, not words. Words can and are deceiving. They're meant to dissuade and lie to you. With actions, you can do the same, but it's harder. Our tongues are powerful, and they create the world that we perceive. When you speak, mountains can move. Extreme long-term relationships, stronger than steel, can get severed. Watch what you say. It's very important because it's a premise for power. You can allow others to perceive you as a weak person just by the way you carry yourself. In turn, those people look at you differently and treat you the way they perceived you. Weak. But your words, if they can exude confidence, strength, power, regardless of gender or race or any other separating thing, people listen. It's your actions from a small manner that create the relationships you have and the ways you interact. You're then treated with respect, authority, intelligence. That's why it's so crucial for progression in one's own professional and personal perspective. At the foundation, it changes the idea of how you're perceived, and equally yourself. In the book of Matthew, chapter 6:21, Jesus Christ says, "For where your treasure is, your heart will be also." And you don't have to be religious to understand that. Where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. So how you feel and project internally also impacts the outside things and people surrounding you. Make your heart pure, and you will be too. We're all on a journey of self-discovery, a man's search for meaning. There are so many ways it can and will go wrong, steering you off the path of greatness. A small condemnation can destroy your colony. You will fail again and again. You will cry at nights alone and scream to the heavens of why it turned out the way that it did. But if you can persevere through it all, if you can endure and become the man or woman you are destined to be, by choosing goodness in all that you do, in your heart, mind, soul, and body for greatness, there is no doubt in my mind you can achieve all of those things and so much more. But it all starts at how you believe in yourself. So tell me, do you believe in yourself? What do you believe you're capable of? And how strongly do you believe that?